This is the State of Community Report for Salt Lake City Metropolitan Statistical Area, a population and economic technical report by Cole, Taylor, Cassidy, and Laura Lee. The Salt Lake City metropolitan area is the largest population center in Utah and one of the fastest growing in the western United States. Therefore, analyzing the economic landscape of the metropolitan statistical area may give insights into trends for future and current development. This may also help planners and investors analyze the economic opportunities and invest in industries and infrastructures that will help the region succeed. Using population and economic data, we will identify trends and patterns within population growth and demographics, such as changes in the size and composition of a population over time, in order to inform policy decisions related to the work of local, regional, and national organizations. This report relies on public data from the 2020 and the 2010 decimal census, as well as the 2019 ACS report to calculate social vulnerability. Additionally, the Social Capital Report uses public, economic, and demographic data to make inferences to create an economic interconnectedness score between all parts. The three factors of size, composition, and spatial distribution in this report provides planners with a full image of the economic and demographic landscape of the Salt Lake City MSA. This will empower planners to better know their constituents and make more informed decisions regarding their built environment. Overview of the metropolitan statistical area and the census geography. The MSA is located within Utah, with 2 counties being Salt Lake and Tule. There are currently 24 cities that are located within the MSA for Utah. The top places in regards to population size are Salt Lake City, with a population of over 200,000 people, and West Valley City, that has a second largest population at 139,000. The planning organization that covers this study area is the WFRC and serves as the Metropolis Planning Organization for this area. Do the counties include the MPO? And does it differ from the MSA? No. Utah Metropolitan Statistical Area is comprising of 2 counties, Salt Lake and Tule. This is the overview of the Metropolitan Statistical Area when it comes to comprehensive planning within the area. We also have highlighted at the very bottom the APA Planning Award for the last 10 years. In 2019, Utah received an APA Planning Award for their National Planning Achievement Award for Transportation Planning. Here is the population size and change charts within Salt Lake City in the MSA for 2010 and 2020. In Table 2.2 is a comparison chart for the ACS one-year sample size for Utah in 2018. The American Community Survey, or ACS, is a sample survey, which is a survey method that selects a sample of people from a population and interviews them. To ensure a good representation of the population, randomization is used. Probability sampling is used in the ACS to avoid sampling biasm that inherits in non-probability sampling. The margin of error, or MOE, the confidence intervals, CI, are dependent on the sample size of the survey. With a larger sample size, the margin of error and the width of the confidence interval decreases. The confidence interval is the interval of numbers around the point estimate that is believed to contain the parameter value. The ACS releases data as one-year estimates and 5-year estimates. The one-year estimates are calculated based on 12 months of collected data, making them the most current but the lowest sample size. The sample size that makes it less reliable is compared to the 5-year estimates. The 5-year estimates are calculated based on 60 months of collected data, making them the least current but the largest sample size. Here is another figure outlining the population of Salt Lake City in the MSA and the population of Utah in 2010 and 2020. Here is another table with the comparison of percent population in regards to the composition by age and sex for the United States, Utah, and Salt Lake City in 2010. A notable difference between the population composition of Utah in 2010 and the composition of the United States in 2010 is that Utah in the population graph appears bottom heavy due to the concentration of the younger age cohort, such as the 5 to 9 years group, the 10 to 14 years group, and the 20 to 24 years group. These younger cohorts make up around 8% of each sex in the population of Utah, where the same cohorts make up around 6% of each sex in the United States overall. The United States 2010 graph has more even distribution across most age cohorts, causing the body of the graph to appear fairly square. In contrast, the Utah 2010 graph is more like a pyramid with a wider base and narrower top, as the age cohorts comprise less of the population as the age increases. The 25 to 29 year cohort in the Salt Lake City MSA 2010 graph has a percentage a little over 2% higher than the same cohort in the Utah 2010 graph, looking at both male and female combined. This higher composition of people in the mid-20s and early 30s in the Salt Lake City MSA 2010 graph conveys that the Salt Lake City MSA is a place where younger adults tend to reside, possibly where they decide to start a family. This factor could also explain the size of the 5-year cohorts, which makes up 17.7% of the SLC MSA population, male and female combined, which is the second largest age cohort in the graph, only second to the 25 to 29 year cohort that makes up 18% of the SLC population in 2010. Here are two graphs in regards to the comparison of percent population composition of age and sex in Utah, Salt Lake City, and the United States for 2020. There are three noticeable shifts in percent of population in the United States by ethnicity and race between 2010 and 2020. The percentage of the white population decreased by 6%, and the percentage of Hispanic and Latino population increased by 2.4%. And the percentage of people who identify as two or more races increased by 2.2%. The main difference between the population of Utah from 2010 and 2020 are that the white population decreased by 5%, the Hispanic population decreased by 2.1%, and the amount of people identifying as two or more races increased by 1.9%. These trends are similar to those of the United States from 2010 to 2022 and 2020. The population of Salt Lake City MSA is projected to grow between 10 to 13% by 2030. The linear projection method shows the longest population growth at over 1,300,000 people, which is a 9.9% increase from 2019. The share of growth method showed the largest increase in population at 1,400,000 at a 13.4% increase from 2019. When compared to the projections for the United States and the state of Utah, Salt Lake City is right in the middle of the two. The state of Utah is rapidly growing, yet Salt Lake City does not even match its own rate of growth. Here is a graph depicting the population projections throughout the MSA to 2030. Both Salt Lake City MSA and the state of Utah in 2021 have lower percentages than the United States in both population below the poverty line and the population unemployed. In 2021, the percentage of the population below the poverty level in the United States was 12.8%, with a difference of 2.5% in 2010. Utah's percentage was closer in 2010 at 13.2%, but by 2021, it had reduced to 8.6%, a difference of 4.6% total. This is due to the higher margin of error throughout the smaller sample size. In 2021, the percentage of unemployed residents in Salt Lake City dropped to 2.8%, and the state of Utah dropped to 2.4%. Here is another graph depicting the changes in the numbers and types of jobs in Salt Lake City through 2002 through 2019. In the Salt Lake City MSA, most residents live and work in the region. However, 160,000 people commute into the region, signifying a strong employment base. Additionally, only 67,000 residents leave the MSA to work, meaning the MSA has 90,000 more jobs than it does workers. Most likely, these residents who commute into the MSA live in the Provo region further to the south. The largest industries in the Salt Lake City MSA based on area and employment are healthcare and social assistance, retail trade, and education services. Healthcare and social services are the largest industry within the area, with an employment rate of 81,000 people. Retail trade comes close in second at 78,000, and educational services at 67,000 people. The high amount of educational service jobs is likely due to the prevalence of higher education institutions in the area, including the University of Utah and Westminster College. The economic analysis performed in this section suggests that Salt Lake City MSA is a community that has high economic growth possibilities. The largest industries are health and social assistance, retail trade, and educational services, along with large local industry in finance and insurance. Poverty and unemployment percentages have dropped by more than 4% since 2010. Additionally, many residents both live and work in the area, with only about 1/3 of those commuting into Salt Lake City. The U.S. Census describes social vulnerability as the potential negative effects on communities caused by external stresses on human health. Such stresses include natural or human-caused disasters or disease outbreaks. Reducing social vulnerability can decrease both human suffering and economic loss. Therefore, the SLC metropolitan region experiences low amounts of social vulnerability, which is a great sign. However, the metric is not evenly distributed, and areas near West Valley City experience higher amounts of social vulnerability. Salt Lake City has a high amount of economic connectiveness. This can help people determine the potential of economic mobility for the residents of the metropolis area. Additionally, the zip codes show the differences throughout the two counties in the MSA. In Salt Lake City County, there is a greater amount of inequality, with West Valley City having a lower amount of economic connectiveness. West Valley City and the areas around the city are some of the poorest and ethnically diverse in the region, putting the metric into perspective. Smaller Tooele County presents high levels of economic connectiveness. Much of the urban expansion of the region will continue out into this county and country, so it'll be important to monitor the economic growth of this area of the MSA within Salt Lake City, Utah. Thanks for watching.